Why did no one in Salt Cove ever say her name after that October? For 20 years, the town had a rule nobody wrote down, but everybody followed. You did not mention Elena Marlowe. Not at the bakery, not at the harbor bar, not even at the small stone church where her family still sat in the third pew every Sunday. Back straight, eyes forward, as if grief were something you could outposture. Salt Cove was the kind of place postcards were made of. Whitewashed cottages leaning into the wind, fishing boats creaking against the dock at dawn, gulls arguing over scraps outside the one bakery that still used a wood-fired oven. Visitors came for the lighthouse and the lobster rolls. They left without ever knowing that somewhere beneath the town's salt-bleached calm was a wound that had never closed. It began, as these things often do, with an ordinary Tuesday. Elena was 17. She told her mother she was walking to the lighthouse to watch the tide come in, the way she always did after an argument. She never mentioned what the argument had been about. Nobody in the family ever would, not fully, not for 2 decades. She did not come home that night, or the next. The search lasted 6 days. Boats combed the coastline, dogs worked the cliffs, and for a while the whole town moved like a single organism toward one goal: finding the harbor master's daughter. Then, on the 7th day, the search was quietly folded up, the way towns do when hope becomes an inconvenience. The official theory, filed and closed within the year, was that Elena had drowned attempting to swim to the old fishing rock during a dangerous tide. Her body was never found. Her brother Thomas was 15 at the time. He is 41 now, and he still walks to the lighthouse every morning before the bakery opens, the same route his sister took that night. He has never explained why. When asked, years later, by a retired detective compiling a cold case review, Thomas gave an answer that would end up haunting the entire investigation. "I'm not walking to remember her. I'm walking to make sure nothing else surfaces." Nothing else surfaces. It's the kind of sentence a grieving brother might say by accident, or the kind of sentence a man says when he has spent 20 years standing between the town and something he cannot let it see. Retired Detective Grant Ellery, who reopened Elena's file after an anonymous tip in the spring, put it more carefully in his notes. "In 11 years of cold case work, I have never seen a family this united in what they don't say." That kind of silence isn't grief. Grief is loud, eventually. This was maintenance. The tip that reopened the case was 3 lines long, unsigned, and mailed from a town 40 miles down the coast. Elena did not drown. Ask her father what was in the boat that night. Ask why the lighthouse logbook page is missing. The logbook, kept by the Harbor Authority since 1954, records every vessel that leaves or returns to Salt Cove's small pier after dark. The page covering the night Elena disappeared, one single page in a book otherwise perfectly intact for 60 years, is gone. Cut, not torn. A clean line, close to the spine, the kind of cut made with intention, not panic. Nobody has explained it. Not the harbor master who kept the log at the time. Not his replacement. Not, especially, the Marlowe family, who have answered every question about that October with the same 4 words, repeated so often over the years that the townspeople now say them under their breath as a kind of dark joke. We don't know either, but someone in Salt Cove knows. Detective Ellery is certain of it. "Small towns don't keep secrets because they're loyal," he said, standing at the edge of the pier where the missing logbook page should have recorded a boat leaving after midnight. "They keep secrets because everyone benefits from the same silence. I want to know what Salt Cove was protecting, and I don't think it was just a grieving family." For the first time in 20 years, the file is open again. For the first time in 20 years, someone is asking not what happened to Elena Marlowe, but what happened after, and who has spent 2 decades making sure it stayed buried at the bottom of the harbor, along with everything else the tide was never supposed to give back.